If your family like mine began in Detroit, then chances are good the old home is gone. My grandfather's house is boarded up. My mom's flower shop's in rubble. Every time a window breaks in the city, or a brick falls in, a little piece of your family dies. Now the city of Detroit is preparing to tear down Tiger Stadium, a place where Ty Cobb dueled with Babe Ruth. And to 4 generations of Detroiters, the voice of that stadium was Ernie Harwell.
Hello, everybody. A big Tiger hello from Tiger Stadium at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Hi, everybody. This is Ernie Harwell.
Ernie Harwell came to Detroit in 1960 and broadcast more than 5,000 games from his booth. He retired after the 2002 season, 2 years after the Tigers moved downtown to Comerica Park. Harwell's 89 now.
It was very close to the plate, the place where I broadcast from. It was so close that you could see the players sweat and hear them cuss. And I used to have ball players from the opposing team say to me, Ernie, I heard your broadcast yesterday afternoon. The wind was blowing out, and I heard every word you said. So I said, that was old loudmouth you heard talking.
Swing, there's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
And I was probably in that booth more often in the summertime than I was in my living room at home.
How many people with ties to Detroit remember where their grandfather worked? Chances are not many. So before they tear down Tiger Stadium, I asked Ernie to give me some memory to hold on to. He says his most vivid memories are of the riots 40 years ago. The National Guard standing on the overpasses with rifles strapped across their shoulders. There was a run on handguns. The whites left for the suburbs, the factories followed them, and today Detroit struggles for a reason to be. Harwell says it's rare that the cliché is true that a city rallies behind its team. But in 1968, the Tigers made a run for the world title, and the city did rally. In a town where blacks and whites don't always get along, Tiger Stadium was like Grandpa's house, where bickering cousins put aside their differences, listened to Ernie, and came together as people.
It's over his head for the hit. Cash is rounding third. He scores. Willie Horton rounding third. He scores. Northup goes into third base. Detroit leads 2-0.
But even the distraction of a championship baseball game could not keep the outside world from creeping into the white walls of Tiger Stadium.
In 1968, I was writing songs, and Jim Campbell, who was the general manager of the Tigers, appointed me as the selector of who would sing the national anthem. And for the first game, I picked a lady who had Michigan roots, Margaret Whiting. My next selection was Marvin Gaye from Motown. And the third person I picked was Jose Feliciano.
Can you see by the dawn's early light?
Jose sang the national anthem in sort of a funky, soul style with no accompaniment except himself playing on the guitar. His seeing eye dog was right beside him and did, I thought, a great soulful rendition with a lot of heart and a lot of feeling.
And the rockets red clear, love on bursting in air.
This was 1968. Vietnam raged. Martin Luther King was assassinated.
A lot of people did not like the version. They thought it was too hippie, that it desecrated America, and the switchboards lit up. The New York Times had a page one picture of Jose singing the national anthem, and all kind of hell broke loose. But I kept my job, and I always supported Jose because I was the guy that picked him, and if you didn't like it, it was my fault, and if you liked it, well, you could pat me on the back. But don't get too low when you pat me.
He was just an announcer, but he felt like family. They're tearing his house down now. There's not even a plan for a plaque, and so a little more of our history gets lost.
Baseball, just a game, as simple as a ball and batting, yet as complex as the American spirit it symbolizes. A sport, a business, sometimes almost even religion. While the fairy tale of Willie Mays making a brilliant World Series catch and then dashing off to play stickball in the streets with his teenage pals. That's baseball. So is the husky voice of a doomed Lou Gehrig saying, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of this earth. Baseball is cigar smoke, hot roasted peanuts, the sporting news, ladies' day, down in front. Take me out to the ball game and the Star-Spangled Banner. And baseball is a tongue-tied kid from Georgia growing up to be an announcer and praising the Lord for showing him the way to Cooperstown. This is a game for America. Still a game for America, this baseball. Thank you.